Hi everybody, this is Denise at Something Beautiful Handcrafts, and hopefully this video will actually get uploaded. That has not been the trend. I've been making videos, just haven't edited and uploaded them. So at any rate, of course, yes, I'm still spinning. I've actually been teaching classes at Praxis, and I really need to start making the videos because I've done several spinning classes. And a couple of months ago, was that February, March? We actually might have been later. At any rate, we did a wool sorting class, which is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. We got the fiber locally from Lake Farm Park, and the last time I got fiber from Lake Farm Park was 2019, before the pandemic. And I got some really good stuff, and it was just kind of leftover stuff, so I paid a really good price for it. And I can't remember if I made a video on it, but you've seen it if you've seen any of the videos, because I spun a lot of it for Tour de Fleece. It was a brown and white Jacob cross that I wove into a shawl. So at any rate, it was good stuff, and there was a lot of it, and it was very inexpensive. And like I said, it was decent. So I asked Will from Praxis to check out Lake Farm Park for fleeces, and he came back with this ton of fleece. There were maybe 8 different types of fleece, some of them full blood, some of them crosses. And so that gave us a lot to sort through. And like I said, when I first got the fleece in 2019, it wasn't like super quality, but it was workable, very workable. Well, this stuff that I got for this wool sorting was like incredible. So I'm not sure who's doing their breeding program now for, or whatever their buying program for the sheep at the farm park, but they've got some really nice sheep. And so it was labeled as okay, then it was like better, and then best quality. So he got several of the best qualities and several of the better qualities depending on his budget. And I gotta say, some of the fleeces I saw, if that's their good quality, not even their better or best quality, I would really like to see that. It's wonderful. So at any rate, this right here is Dorset Horn. This one was labeled as better quality, and it was shorn in last spring, or whatever they do to sharing in 2023. Unfortunately, I can't seem to get the camera to do right so you can exactly see how much yellowing there is in the fleece. It's a light cream off-white color, and when it washes up, it's really quite nice, nice chalky white. But I wish you could see the difference in before and after. It's just hard to get that correct color in with this phone and in this light. I might have to try to start using my actual digital camera and see if I can get it better. I tried making adjustments to the white balance and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, on Instagram, I have posted, by the time I do something with this video, the picture of the before and after. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I don't always hot soak or scrub fiber. Basically, a lot of times I rinse or cold soak if necessary. Sometimes I use soap, sometimes I don't. It really depends on how greasy the fleece is. Like merino, for the most part, almost always gets hot scoured with soap, or whatever I do to it, it generally gets soap. And there's been a few cases where that wasn't quite true, but normally yes, because it's a heavy grease fleece. Jacob almost always gets soap, even if it's not hot scoured, because it tends to have heavy grease. And sometimes I just want to release the dirt, and the sweat, which makes the fiber yellow. Sometimes there are actual tips, like down here, there are some tips here that need to be released. And so it just kind of depends. Now, the sample that I did and I'm posting on Instagram has some tips. Oh, there were some dirty tips, kind of like that down there. And all I did was take it in my hand and swish it back and forth in the water, couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 minutes, and it basically released all of that dirt and whatever else, and it was pretty much white when I got done. So this is not going to be a fleece where it's so filthy I'm going to have to scour it. This fleece, well, we skirted it, of course, because that's what the class was, but I was really impressed because there wasn't really any fleece except for the Shetland. The Shetland actually was totally unusable, but there's not a lot of heavy VM. There is some VM. There's always some VM, unless the shearer or shepherdess or shepherd or whoever is managing it, is coating or seriously skirting beforehand. Just little debris like that, which will release with the water. But they weren't filthy fleeces, so that was good. They're quite lovely. So now let me take you to the greenhouse, and you'll see in a moment why we're going to the greenhouse. So it's a totally different house, totally different setup. This property, I was told, has been vacant for a while, and so the trees have pretty much taken over. So all of this soil is compacted tree roots, and it will pretty much have to be amended before it, looks greenish. So this is the greenhouse. We put this up, my niece and I put this up about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so roughly the middle of May. And the big stuff is out here. The tomatoes and cubes and squash and zucchini, all that kind of stuff is out here. The apple trees, the trees are still in their pots. They'll be until I decide where they are going to go. Here's Jewel. If you've been watching for any length of time, normally I have shepherds, and the last one, Boomer, passed away about 2 years ago. So it's been about 2 years. And so it's just Jewel left here. And Jewel's had some issues, so I'm probably going to wind up placing her. But at some point, we're going to get another shepherd. It's kind of sad. I miss them popping into the pictures. So at any rate, let's see. So here we are in the greenhouse, which is what takes up the majority of my time in the summertime. I'm generally gardening. Got this thing all, well, I do everything. I studied, and still didn't have quite all the information I needed. Now I have it, and I realized that this is kind of not how this should go, but it's okay. I have some alternate plans, but in the meantime, this is what's in here. And I decided that this would be an awesome place to dry the wool. So after I used the greenhouse to basically start all my seedlings and all that kind of stuff, and it becomes empty for the probably July and August through September, the hottest months, this is where I will do most of my wool washing and drying. It's a perfect setup for that. That way I don't have wool and items scattered all over the backyard. It looks kind of crazy because remember, I do live in the city, so there are ordinances as to what I can do. And well, that's pretty much it. So there's our wool hanging back there. The dark stuff that you can see is the Jacob. It's a very nice fleece. And the other stuff is a Tunis cross that I've been working on. Looking forward to the Tunis cross. Tunis is one of my favorites. It's on my Fab 5 list. Just beautiful stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff the door set in the bucket. Now there are all kind of rules, practical rules about space when you're washing fleece and agitation and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to go ahead and break them, mostly because A, I have no intention of agitating anything in this bucket, pretty much. Number two, because what I'm putting in here is not terribly dirty or greasy, I'm not overly concerned about giving it space. What I am going to do is, this is the part of the fleece that has a lot on the tips. Look at that though, isn't that beautiful? And so at any rate, what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to get this ant out of my bucket. Okay, there we go. I am going to take the parts that are, oh, I'm just really admiring this crimp. I'm going to take the parts that have the really crunchy tips, and they are just going to go separate. So I'm separating any parts of the fleece that I think are moderate to excessively dirty. That's how I am separating and skirting this fleece, and they are going to be washed separately. I mean, for a number of reasons. First of all, they are going to need the space that I'm not giving this other one. Secondly, once whatever is on there, pooped or whatever is on there, it's going to release and it's going to get into the fleece that is not excessively dirty. So we don't want that. So all these guys that are dirty are all going to go in by themselves. Now, there are people who endorse particular fiber washes. I'm not really one of those people. I use whatever I have at hand. I've used everything from Dawn dishwashing liquid to Simple, what's it called? Simple Green, to whatever, my own shampoo, to my own handmade soap. It doesn't actually seem to matter to me. Or this paste, whatever you have, whatever works. As long as you're not using something extremely harsh. I figure if I can wash my dogs with it, I can wash the wool with it. At the moment, I put a little bit of unicorn fiber wash, and it's just because I have these packets. I think I got them from Marriott Kamaj as a sample when I ordered soft silk some time ago, and it's probably time for me to order some more. And so I just happened to have them. I had them for years. And as I was unpacking for the new house, I found them, and that's what I decided to use. So no particular endorsement. I really haven't noticed any great difference. Just saying that. Your mileage may vary. Whatever you need to do to get the job done. Check that out. Ugh. That's what's on your fiber, folks. It's been soaking for a whole day. That was nice. You know what? There's no shame. I don't do any wool shaming. Some people do. Like, I have a higher tolerance for maybe greasing my fiber. I always say I spin in the grease. I don't spin in the dirt. So generally, for the most part, I rinse most of my fibers to some degree or another. And of course, heavy grease fleece is just a pain to work with. So, well, for me anyway. So if it's super heavy like merino, of course. But I don't shame anybody who wants to have completely scoured fleece. And I definitely don't shame anyone who doesn't want to prep wool. I say try it once. Try a couple different methods because you may find one that you enjoy. But if you don't enjoy prepping raw fleece, then there's roving, there's all kind of things. Some people don't enjoy any of that and they just buy yarn. Some people don't enjoy taking care of natural fibers, so they get synthetic fibers. There's something for everybody. And I do what fits with my philosophy of what I want and how I want to live. So completely no shame. It does take a lot of work. It takes space if you're in an apartment. This is a hard thing to be able to do. I live in the city, and sometimes this is a hard thing to do because I can't just leave fiber all over the place, unless I want to invite some trouble from my neighbors. I can't set up suet and baths or anything that's going to smell. So it's a real thing. No shame. Do what makes you feel comfortable, what you can tolerate. So if this looks a little bootleg, well, yeah, it is. This is my Hamilton Beach 4 shelf drying rack, which they don't actually sell anymore. You can grab it some places. I got it like at Target more than 10 years ago. Paid like 25 bucks for it. And you can get it, like I said, some places on eBay for about 75 to 100 bucks plus shipping. It's a pretty heavy thing. This thing has really come in handy, and after the move I noticed it's missing a bunch of parts, so I'm going to try to find them. If not, I think I'm going to go to Home Depot and get some PVC pipe and fix it. But at any rate, like I said, it really comes in handy in drying all kind of things because it is forced air. It could stand to be cleaned, but since I've stopped using it for actual like clothing and really started using it for fiber and yarn, it just kind of is what it is. And so this is the Dorset horn again. The Jacob is pretty much dry out there in the garden, and the Tunis Cross, just getting this last bit of Dorset horn dried. And as you can see, it's really nice and basically white, and there's not much happening with the tips. So I'm just going to do my usual where I lay the tips down on the hand carder and just pretty much flick them open. And that is all of the prep I plan on doing to this fiber. No drum carding or anything like that. This is pretty much it. Tour de Fleece starts in a couple days. I'm not really quite sure how close to Tour de Fleece that you will see this video. I would like to say I'm going to vlog through Tour de Fleece, but considering my videos have been sporadic, I think you kind of know how that works out. But I'm going to do my best to at least post on Instagram every day, or at least every other day. Hey, thanks for watching. Oh, and if you have any specific questions about how this is going to be processed, I have some older videos about how I actually process my fiber and spinning. But if you're curious, you can put some questions down there in the comments. And I need to update some of those videos anyway, because I'd like to think I've gotten better at explaining stuff over the years. At any rate, take care. Have a great day.